painting coming up, and her name is Oonagh Quinn, and she'll be showcasing her work to us. Good afternoon, Oonagh. Just be coming along in a moment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey Oonagh, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Yeah, I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good. Brilliant. Well, look, the audience and the judges are waiting to hear lots about you and your artwork. So I'll hand over without any further ado to you, Oonagh.
Great. So yeah, if you just put on the first slide. Yeah, so my name's Oonagh Quinn. I'm 22 and I recently just graduated from the University of Brighton with a 2-1. And prior to that, I did my foundation at the Royal Drawing School in London. My practice focuses on depicting a more accurate representation of the female form. I feel like in a society where women are constantly criticised and judged by their appearances, it's necessary to normalise bodies that don't conform to society's expectations of beauty. I'm interested in like the female gaze and how women can reclaim their bodies, and I like to paint my figures in confident poses to show off all their curves or folds or whatever, you know, comes naturally. I usually place my women within fairly bare backgrounds to focus in on their bodies and their figures. And I like to hint at the sort of spaces they're in, like bedrooms, kitchens, changing rooms, etc. If you go to the next slide. Yeah, these environments I feel like where the women are most comfortable, and thus they are unbothered by the viewer there and the viewer's possible intrusion on them. My paintings often consist of like women looking confrontationally back at the viewer whilst showing off their imperfect figures. And this assertive eye contact between the women and the viewer is a way for the women to take back control and leave the spectator feeling as though they themselves being viewed. And in doing so, I feel like the women take ownership of their bodies. They're not afraid or ashamed of their curves. Historically, women have obviously been used as objects of lust and over-sexualized throughout the history of art. And, you know, they're often women with idealized figures and their bodies would be considered perfect or sexy. And my practice aims to break the stereotype and reveal that women of all shapes and sizes should be able to feel beautiful within their skin. So all my pieces that I'm showing, well, the ones I paint, are all different, but in the same way they each depict a different moment. They're all depicting women who appear comfortable in their surroundings and thus within their bodies. This piece, What's for Dinner, for example, was based off a photo I took of my friends after a day of like dancing, drinking, Notting Hill Carnival. And we were just conversing, you know, like catching up after the day, basically. And I just wanted to capture my friends in their unbothered, you know, they weren't bothered by the viewer, they're comfortable with each other, they're happy with their bodies and their surroundings. I take inspiration from artists such as Chantal Joffe, Alice Neal. I love how they place their figures within their paintings and they use a gaze as a way to engage the spectator. Yeah, if there's any questions.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Oonagh. I really enjoyed that presentation, and I'm going to go straight over to Geetha to give us her view on this art.
Hello, Oonagh.
Hello.
Hearty congratulations on the work.
Thank you.
Also high five on our nose rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, my first thought looking at your painting was body cannot lie.
Yeah.
And as a dancer, I'm always concerned. I'm very conscious of my body, not about it being slim or fat or whatever, but a certain consciousness that gives me confidence and for my everyday existence. And in that sense, you have captured that a little strand of our, as female bodies, that little strand of our everyday existence in all your work from all the three paintings that you shared just now. And about the gaze, again, it's such a strong, like they say, it's the window, right? The eyes are like the gaze. And whilst it's not so strongly nuanced in the way that you have portrayed it, yet it's very, very strong. It is very confrontational, as this is one of the works that I can say that it does what it says.
Mm.
So, and I really like the very bare background that you give to your paintings, simply to highlight what you're saying. And also, again, there's a sense of a daring quality in the use of colors also, the way you've done the shadow, the reflection, and so on. That apart from the daring concept itself, you're quite daring in the use of your technique as such, and quite powerful. For me, it like I would take a message from your work today.
Wonderful.
The very best. Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geetha. Emily.
Hi, Oonagh.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I have to say, when I was looking through all the artwork, I did keep coming back to this. There's a few reasons. One, I was never good at drawing nudes or still life like this. So portraits of this style, I found that really difficult. So I really am looking at the techniques. The other thing I really, really like is the simplicity, the little lines, the linear background. And actually the first one, if we take the lady with the red bikini on, she isn't actually necessarily sitting on something 3D, but you've made her look like she is with the shadowing behind. So looking at techniques, I think that's what I was drawn to, and the fact that it's different. So that was going for a swim. Now that you've told me the message with the eyes, I mean, obviously I understood that it was allowing women to be themselves, to feel good in themselves, whatever shape and size. And growing up myself as a young woman, that's all we were looking at. And especially in my time, it was Kate Moss, very thin. It's not good to be looking at very thin. You want to look at real people. What I love is the intensity in her eyes. And you suggested that she's looking back as if to say, I'm comfortable, don't judge me. And I think it's so important with young people growing up today with all the social media as well. So I think it's wonderful that you're capturing this in art, for people to enjoy. And then I love the fact that you named What's for Dinner after something that you'd had a conversation with your friends, but actually they look so relaxed. And again, we've got the sunbed, but it's just this linear line. And you mentioned an artist, remind me, was it Chantal Joffe?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't actually know her, but does she paint like this with this linear line?
Her paintings look very wet, and they have sort of like lines in them which kind of give a hint. Well, like it's the body, but it's also quite like it's not really the shape of a body, or the leg looks a bit disformed, and it's that some of her women look quite, I don't know, like they have pale faces, but she like often paints like quite large eyes, so you're really drawn into the gaze, and you just look straight at it, and the women are just sat comfortably, and it does look a bit awkward, but it really brings you in.
I think that's the key thing, because I as I said to you, I kept looking back and I couldn't quite work out what it was. Well, one, because of your talent, obviously, and I struggled with life form like this, and but actually, it is the fact they're so relaxed, they're so comfortable as well, and you've really captured that. So well done. And I'm just looking at the bottom one now, Untitled. Again, it's beauty in all forms, and beauty in the way you've used the paint and the technique. So well done, Oonagh. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Emily. That's brilliant. Terry, we've got about 30 seconds left. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely loved all of this work. It was my favourite so far, I have to say. It is, you've just created this wonderful casualness. I think, first of all, I loved it on two levels. I think your technique, your ability to transform your friends in a really natural but artistic way is really stunning, really amazing. And as a man looking at these, I think that, well, I feel slightly uncomfortable, but I think that's a good thing. I think it is a good thing that men feel slightly uncomfortable watching this, because I think we do have this notion of what we perceive the female form to be and should be. But these are really strong, powerful images that I loved so much. I could say more, but I think I only had 30 seconds. But Oonagh, well done, very, very well done. These are amazing pieces.
Thanks a lot, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Oonagh, what can you say to that now?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad. The feedback's been great, and it's like I only recently graduated, but obviously with everything that happened, I haven't been able to speak to a lot of people about my work, and it's just great to hear what other people think. And obviously the most important thing is how people perceive it for me.
Yes.
Because obviously if the message isn't being portrayed in the way I want, then what is the point in doing all of this? So yeah, no, it's great to hear everyone's feedback, and yeah, no, I feel really good.
know. Oh, wonderful. Terry's saying it's his favourite so far. There we go. Absolutely brilliant. But they're wonderful. I absolutely love them. Now, good luck, Oonagh, and congratulations for getting so far. Well done. Take care.